Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you certainly know that this is my deep dive into an impressive and expansive and expanding deck called the Egyptian Tarot by C.C. Zane and the Brotherhood of Light. And just in case you are a new timer here, let me tell you what I'm doing. Every night before I go to bed, I pull a card from my deck of the Egyptian Tarot. I use the mass market deck, the color deck that is readily available, and I riffle shuffle the heck out of it, and I pull a daily draw, thinking to myself the question, what would I benefit from giving my attention to in the coming day? And then I pulled the matching card from my very out-of-print deck called the Egyptian Tarot. But this one is charcoal gray and white, and it's pretty old, so I don't want to shuffle it. I want to keep it as pristine as I possibly can. So I look at those two cards, and I look at the differences and the similarities, and then I ask for help from another deck, a deck called the Tarot of the Holy Light by the beautiful and brilliant Christine Payne-Towler. And I do a 3-card spread with that one. The first card gives me the significance of the daily draw card for the next day. The second card gives me the challenge, either positive or negative. And then the third card gives me advice, significance, challenge, advice. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and I live my day and I come back and I analyze the daily draw and the spread that I laid to help me unpack the daily draw. And then I filmed this video, which is where we are now. So friends, I've got the daily draw for today, and let me show you that card right now. You just saw the daily draw card in 2 versions was the 3 of Wands, right? And we've had the 3 of Wands in this series before. It appeared to me, I think the first time, on January 7th. And here it is again, just in case you want a little bit more time to glance at it. And you can see that basically the images are very similar, though the wands are of different size. Yeah, the wands are smaller in the out-of-print deck, and they're larger in the mass market color version. You'll also notice the number of stars is different, right? There are many more stars. Look at how many stars there are in the color version, whereas there are much fewer stars in the black and white. However, they both point to the same constellation, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So you also notice the attributions of the card, right? On the top, you see Sagittarius in Aries, and at the bottom, you see the planet Jupiter. So there's a lot of meaning and a lot of symbolism and many attributions that are indicated in this card. We've got card. Why do I keep saying car today? This card, maybe because my nose is a little bit stuffed and the D doesn't want to come out. Yes, in this card, we have many associations. We've got the zodiacal signs, we've got the planet, we've got the constellations, and we've got the 3 wands. So that's why I say that this deck is expansive and expands my ability and my practice of reading tarot. The 3's, a very good number, right? The 3 is the first generation of the parental monad and partner giving birth to the 3rd, right? We've got that triangle, the 3. It's a wonderful number for us, I think. And what does it point to? Well, we just said Sagittarius, Aries, Jupiter. So the 3 of Wands points to the Sagittarius decanate of Aries and its sub-ruler, Jupiter. Because Jupiter is associated with Sagittarius, right? So from which the mutable aspect of cardinal fires, vital attributes, enter our world. So the mutable side of cardinal fire is Aries, right? Cardinal fire's vital attributes are entering the world through the sign of Aries into our natal charts, into the world, into our lives, and into the answer to the question we've posed to the tarot when we read with these cards. So what does it all mean? Oh, and also, what is that constellation? Yeah, the constellation, we've seen it before, but let me show it to you again. The constellation's name is Perseus, a very famous name. Let me show you that constellation right now. Perseus is one of the consummate heroes in Greek mythology, right? We've got Hercules, we've got Theseus, and we've got Perseus. What is Perseus famous for? Well, Perseus is the one who slayed Medusa, right? The Gorgon, the woman with all the snakes, who was cursed because of Hera's jealousy of her. He rescues Andromeda as well. Andromeda is the daughter of a woman who thought that she and her daughter were the most beautiful creatures in the world, and so as a punishment for the mother, they chained the daughter to a rock to be attacked by one of the monsters. Also, Perseus is one who is assisted by Athena. Minerva in Rome, Athena in Greece. Now, the goddess of wisdom, also the goddess of warfare, and the goddess of handicraft, right? The making of things with our hands. Crafting with our hands, handicraft. So, Perseus has all of this assistance for himself from the goddess Athena. And he goes off and he does some pretty remarkable things, including rescuing Andromeda, including killing the Gorgon, the Medusa, using the mirrored shield, right? And also, we've got Jupiter, the planet of generosity and abundance and all things beneficent, largeness, beaming through beaming through Sagittarius, not its domicile, but beaming through Sagittarius, room in the house of Aries. Because Aries has 3 rooms in its house, right? It's got a room for itself, it's got a room for its dad, Jupiter, and a room for the sun with Leo. Yeah, so right now we've got Jupiter beaming through Sagittarius's room in Aries' house. So what does it all mean? Yeah, we've got the idea of, one more thing I wanted to mention was, I said we got this card before on January 7th. And if you've been following along, January 7th was the first day of my arrival at the camp, the winter camp that I just got finished teaching at. So it was the beginning, very interestingly, of a 3-week cycle of learning new ways of teaching, of learning how to teach at that camp, of learning the subjects that I was teaching, of many, many new things that I was there to accomplish. And it was a very appropriate card. It was a very appropriate card for that beginning. And now I just got back home yesterday, and today my card was that same card again. Now yesterday was a finishing, and apparently today is the new beginning. And this is a business partnership card. Yeah? It could be a business partnership. It could be a jovial disposition, Jupiter. It could be triumph over enemies. Jupiter's beaming through Aries, right? The conqueror. Success in legal matters, which I don't really think applies to me. Taking action for the future. That applies to me, I believe. I told you I just finished one cycle of work, and I am beginning a new cycle now. Business gains through social activity, confidence in self. That's a very good thing for me to have. Aggressive action. Now, Aries, remember, Aries is very aggressive, right? Ultimate success, pushing forward, striving. Aries is cardinal. But we've got the mutable aspect of cardinals. The mutable aspect of cardinals, energy beaming into the day. So that cardinal energy is perhaps softened and made more inclusive with the mutable aspects. A plan to raise prestige, maybe. and enthusiasm on the job. Today I'm not on the job, but that could be beginning again today, which would be wonderful. So all those wonderful possibilities, along with the idea of being the hero of my story, of being blessed with the assistance of Athena, who wouldn't want that? That's all wonderful stuff. So we've got this card as being my significance, not significator, but significance for my day today. And so, like I said, I did a 3-card pull to help me unpack this card. So what does it all mean? Let me show you those 3 cards right now. You just saw from left to right a lot of reversals, right? There was the 4 of Swords reversed, the Hanged Man, interesting, right? Upright, and the Queen of Wands reversed. Now, let me tell you something really quirky. When I first saw the spread and when I first started analyzing the spread, I saw the Queen of Wands, but my brain saw the Queen of Swords. Isn't that bizarre? So I started going in to analyze the spread with the end card being the Queen of Swords reversed. And then so what are the associations for the Queen of Swords? And I looked at the card and it says Aries and Mars. Okay, Aries and Mars for the Queen of Swords. Wait a second. Aries and Mars, fire. Why is there fire on the Queen of Swords? That's when I realized, oh my God, it's the Queen of Wands. So that was interesting. Yes, so of the 4 of Swords reversed, the Hanged Man upright, and then the Queen of Wands reversed. And so let's start with the 4 of Swords. This is what it looks like reversed, which you just saw. Let me give it to you upright. What do we see? We see the androgen. Yeah, the being with both male and female heads in one body, and male and female aspects in one body, lying on a kind of bier of some sort, or it could be a rock bed. So rock beds are apparently very good for the health, and I'm thinking of getting one someday, but that's neither here nor there. We have the androgen here on a rock bed of maybe a bier, and you see that there are 3 swords above and 1 sword below, which sort of echoes the this imagery predates the art drawn by Pamela Coleman Smith. Yes, so it doesn't echo. It is a forerunner, perhaps, of, so this deck is created very much more recently. Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork was drawn before this deck was created, yes, but the images that are used in this deck are from a time before that. That's what I was trying to point to. And so we have the androgen laying out. Why was I saying that? Because in Pamela Coleman Smith's art, what do we have? We have a knight's bier, a tomb, and 1 sword is on the bottom and there are 3 swords on top, right? So very similar here. We've got the sun at the top. Do you see at the bottom both the lion and the eagle? Both imperial symbols. Looking pretty happy down there, I think. And we've got flowers growing up on the side. It's on the top. It's a beautiful card. Oh, and the shield with 3 balls, which reminds me of Medici's 5 balls, right? Okay, never mind. Anyways, so a beautiful card. The idea of repose and rest is still in that card here. And the attributions are what? Well, we have the 4 of Swords, which points to the Gemini decadent of Aquarius and its sub-ruler Mercury, from which the mutable aspect of fixed air's vital attributes enter our world. So fixed air is Aquarius, right? And Gemini is mutable. So the mutable aspect of fixed air's vital attributes are entering our world, entering the answer to the question that we have posed to the Tarot. Which the question was, what is the significance of my daily draw card for me today? So we also have because this is the second decadent, of Aquarius. We also have if it were upright, it would be a complement, but here we have a detriment. And the detriment is Saturn in Leo. Me be Leo. I'm Leo. My sun sign is Leo. So Saturn has barged into my house. And what do we get from this when it's in reverse? Remember, this was a reversed card. Very interesting thing. We had in the main card, my daily draw card was business partnerships, jovial dispositions, yeah, triumph over enemies, success, confidence in self, aggressive action perhaps, but ultimate success. A lot of this plan to raise prestige, all of this growth, and which is part of the threes, and success and moving forward with power and force. Four of Swords reversed is saying, wait a second. The lesson of detachment is difficult to learn with Saturn in Leo. Yeah, Leo is that energy of, yes, I can do it. I am successful. I am proud. I want to help you. I want to play with you because I know everything is wonderful and it's the summer sun. But Saturn comes in and it starts to mess us up. And Leo struggles with that. And so this card, when upright, is detachment, but that detachment is difficult to learn in the reverse because it's in Leo, because we're in Leo, and Saturn, they're engaged with Leo's ego starts getting wounded, and it's like, ugh. Does that make sense? And so this card may be suggesting a period of isolation to incubate. Could be beneficial. Asking ourselves the question, what is the true reason I came into this incarnation? Why would I ask that question? Well, because perhaps I may have lost that. I may have lost my why for being here. And so this card is asking me to think of that. Why are you here? Reconnect with that passion and the attraction, as in law of attraction, the attraction that I first arrived into this world with. Yeah, how can I reconnect to that excitement of being alive and that desire to explore and learn and become? How can I reconnect with that? And maybe the way to get back there is to deliberately detach so that I can reconnect to that and then move forward. Because when the connection to the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and those passions that we were born with, when we've lost that connection, we can become depressed, we can become lethargic, we can feel hollow, like there's no purpose, we can feel ennui. So this card is, the significance of this card for me for today is, yes, but maybe it's a little bit of quiet time will help me to reconnect so I can do this, if that makes sense. So my Gemini, my Mercury of Gemini is beaming through Sagittarius, through the Gemini's house of Aquarius, which is fixed and like, I know what to do. This is the way things should be. This is the way we're going to progress. This is the way we're going to move forward. This is the way we're going to evolve. And Gemini's like, but then this and then this and then this and then this and I don't know. Maybe, And Mercury is like, let's talk about it. And so, in reverse, it's like, take a step back, re-engage, rediscover. Why are you here? Why am I here? Why is this important? And so the next card, which is the challenge, and I think this challenge is positive, because what is it? This is the Hanged Man. Here it is again, the Hanged Man, which in this deck is Libra. which is the domicile of Venus, right? Which is going to be interesting in just a moment. We've got Venus in her more mature home, on the dry path, of the path of ascension and the looking up for mercy of the divine. And what is my moniker here on YouTube? Yeah, not the name of the channel, but my moniker is the Hanged Man in the Moon. So, yeah, this is a card that I associate with personally, even though I'm not Libra. Never hoped to be Libra. Sorry, all those Libras out there. I know you're all wonderful people, and some of my best friends are Libras. But I've never wanted to be Libra. Probably because my stepfather, with whom I wouldn't say didn't have there was one big fallout, but we didn't have an antagonistic relationship, an openly antagonistic relationship, but all of the Libra traits that he had were very irritating to me when I was growing up. And he had a kind of dark side of Libra, I think. Not only because of his skin tone. I found him very selfish and self-centered, frankly, and very impressed with his own intellect. Yeah, he was smart. But, you can be smart and humble at the same time. It's possible. And he wasn't. So, all those things really rubbed me the wrong way. In addition to being, the stepfather thing. Anyway, so Libra has not been my favorite sign in the zodiac. However, I do identify with the Hanged Man nonetheless. And Venus is pretty cool, right? So the Hanged Man points to Libra, which is the domicile of Venus, from which the cardinal heir's vital attributes enter our world. Very crisp and clean. Cardinal heir's attributes enter into our world and into the answer to the question of what is the challenge for me? And even though I just said that I don't particularly like Libra all that much, still, I do see this as the challenge of something to reach for, something to strive for, primarily because it's the Hanged Man. And so this card, I think, is challenging me to a conversion. Now, the Hanged Man is a change of life from spiritual conversion. And I think following from this card, step back, incubate, this is the challenge in this space to do this, to take the spiritual conversion, to turn around to the path of ascension, which I just mentioned was Libra, right? Libra is on the path of ascension, the path of mercy, the dry way, rising back up to the spring, moving towards the spring. This is also the card of personal sacrifice. Ordeals can drive us out of social and cultural programming, attaining new perspective. We still got the new perspective, and perhaps that's the part, because I'm really not all that socially and culturally in sync with the rest of the world. I'm not even socially and culturally in sync with the rest of Tarosphere on YouTube. But still, I think I do have an opportunity. I think we all have opportunities every moment of every day to achieve a new perspective. And that new perspective is always beneficial. This is a voluntary awakening. That's not the awakening of the tower where the lightning bolt has to come and crash and your noggin gets split open. This is a voluntary movement towards an awakening. Overcoming fears of loss, of safety, of loss of comfort, of loss of trust in the physical world and in relationships. The word for the day might be selflessness. Now, putting other people before us and putting ourselves on the line, risking ourselves to a metanoia, a conversion, which makes sense with the Four of Swords reversed, right? Take that time, ask the questions, and strive to do this. And so we've got the Queen of Wands reversed. And the Queen of Wands is a gorgeous card. I mean, how could I have mistaken this for the Queen of Swords, although that is one of my favorite cards in tarot decks all the time. Still, the Queen of Wands, look at those shoes. How could I have missed those shoes, those hot pink shoes? Fabulous, right? She is a fabulous queen because the Queen of Wands is fabulous. And we've got the pot of fire next to her. We've got her with her, could be a bunch of, like a broom. It isn't that, but when I see this, I keep thinking of the broom from Lenormand. She's got wings on her back. She's got this radiant sun symbol at the top with the stars around. She's got this beautiful red raptor on her at her left. Fabulous queen. And the Queen of Wands is none other than Aries, right? So the Queen of Wands points to Aries, which is the decadent of Mars, from which these cardinal fires, vital attributes enter our world. Cardinal fires, vital attributes, vital, really real vitality in the Queen of Wands. Yeah, Aries, cardinal fire, moving forward with our passions. Can be a little bit overwhelming at times. Can be a little bit overwhelming at times. And now we've got her reversed, right? So she can be ruthless in reverse. She can be ruthlessly attached to her game plan. She's got it all figured out. This is the way it's got to happen. And we're damn well going to do it. And get out of my way if you're not going to fall in line, right? In that situation, spontaneity can suffer a lot. She's not going to accept a new plan or a new idea or that inspiration to, oh, but I could do it this way. That's not her in reverse. She's got her game plan and we're going to do it that way. She can be controlling. She can be blaming. She can shame you if you're not living up to what she thinks you should be able to do. Especially when she feels like she might be losing control. Of course, she, he, they. Yeah, she's our queens, he's our queens, they's our queens. They's be queens. Yeah, we're all queens of wands. Just as we're all kings of wands, we are all knights of wands, and we are all pages of wands. We all have all of this within us. She, he, they has no sympathy for those not carrying their weight or contributing to the overall plan of the motion forward. So all of these are dangers for me. If I start feeling that I'm starting to lose it in this, that if this becomes too uncomfortable, there is the possibility, the advice that I might end up doing this card reversed. So I think the advice is the warning here of be careful. Don't get too attached to what you think should be happening. Don't get too attached to your plan. Don't get too attached to anything. Because remember, the first order of business is this. Moving into the uncomfortable. Moving into the unfamiliar. Right? And if it gets too uncomfortable, if it feels like it's going wrong, I could end up doing the Queen of Wands reversed. Because this is something I see myself falling into from time to time. So here we are. And so what was my day today? Actually, today was not much of anything. Woke up, had breakfast, watched a movie, took a nap, did some puttering around the house, cleaned up a little bit from my trip, my 3-week jaunt to the camp, prepared for next week. Got my lunch ready for tomorrow. I mean, all those normal daily, this is what I do on Sundays kinds of things. And then I also texted my roommate, my apartment mate, I should say, my apartment mate from the camp, and asked him if he felt a little weird being back and how this city doesn't feel as cold. Right now it feels kind of warmish, though everybody else seems to feel like it's cold. But to us, this is very nice and comfortable because we came from much colder weather. So yeah, I chatted with him, and then I realized, I thought, if you saw my video yesterday, I think I mentioned that I had this idea for something to do at a library near my apartment. I volunteer at a library far away from my apartment, and yet there's a library almost across the street from my apartment complex. And so I had this idea of maybe doing a play reading club there. And so I thought, maybe I could text the employee that I know who moved there to the one across from me, and who had been very helpful to us over the last 2 years when we were volunteering at the library that I still volunteer at. She moved her job to another, because they do that here every 4 years or so. They move to a new location. That's a Korean thing. So I thought of maybe contacting her and seeing if I could start that program over there. And then I went on to the chat with her, and I noticed that, I just mentioned that, didn't I? That January 7th, I got this card, right? The Three of Wands. January 6th, she had sent me a text asking me about when I can start working at the library that I volunteer at, that I've been volunteering at for the last 2 years. Even though she moved, they asked her to contact me about that. I swear to God, I typed a message. I was sure it sent, but when I went in to look at that message just today, just a couple of hours ago, I noticed that the message was still sitting in the typing box. It never got sent. I was so distracted and stressed out about leaving that I never got sent. And it's funny that on the day that I look back at that, which is the day that I got this card again, was when I noticed that that text that I sent the first time I got this card had not been sent. And so I sent a message to her saying, I'm sorry, I thought I had sent the message. And so I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to try and see if she thinks it would be possible. So that could be this, yeah? It could be success in a new business venture, ultimate success, plan to raise prestige, enthusiasm on the job. That could be an indication of this, I think, as like the beginning of a new cycle of something new, a new venture. And yet, because of these cards, the take a step back card, the change of perspective card, the be careful of being too attached to my own plan. That may be, okay, so maybe this new venture that I'm thinking of, maybe I'm going to be asked to reevaluate and modify that, and I shouldn't get too attached to it. But it's not time to actually start it yet because I need to reconnect with my purpose for it. Maybe that's what this whole thing is about. Yes, I am restarting my work again here in Cheonan because I just got back to Cheonan today with this, but maybe this is primarily about that idea about volunteering at doing that club at the library near me. Maybe that's what this is all about. It very well could be, I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Does that make sense? Let me know. Except for that, nothing else really has happened today. I haven't done much of anything. I didn't plan on doing anything because I wanted to take a day off before I go back to work tomorrow. And I'm going back to work tomorrow. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below. And if you are still here, hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you got something out of it and other people will get something out of it, so it will draw more eyes to the channel. Also, Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. I'm still doing one a day until the new moon in February. We've still got about another 20 days, 22 days or so left in the series. And you know what? If you want to get these decks that I'm using, the Tarot of the Holy Light, there's a link below to Christine Payne-Towler's site. Get this and get the guidebook, at least one of the two. Get both of them if you can. They're helpful. They're very, very helpful. If you want to get the color version of the Egyptian Tarot, there's a link below to the Amazon site. I don't get money. It's just there for your convenience. Get this deck too. I think it is also a very useful tool for us to expand as readers. Do you have it? If you already have it, let me know in the comments below. And friends, if you want a private reading from me, my email address is below. The Hanged Man in the Moon, yeah? The Hanged Man in the Moon at gmail.com. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.